When that 47-foot birdie putt dropped on the back nine at the Annika Prom, the sound you heard wasn't just applause. It was the collective gasp of golf professionals realizing they'd just witnessed something that shouldn't be possible. Caitlin Clark, the woman who already rewrote basketball's record books, just destroyed a golf world record that had stood for years. And here's what nobody's talking about. This wasn't beginner's luck. This was surgical precision from an athlete now proving she can dominate any sport she touches. The scorecard told one story, a round of 61, the lowest score ever recorded by a non-professional female in a sanctioned Pro-Am event. But the real story is what this performance reveals about the Caitlin Clark phenomenon and why even LPGA legends are running out of words. Let's cut through the noise and examine what actually happened on that golf course. Because if you've been following Caitlin's journey, you know this moment was years in the making. And if you believe the story behind the story matters, hit that like button right now. It tells us you're here for the deeper analysis, not just the highlight reel. Here's what makes this different from every other celebrity golf appearance you've seen. Caitlin Clark didn't just show up for photo ops. She showed up to compete. And the gap between those two approaches, that's where legends are made. Many of you have said for months that Caitlin's athletic intelligence transcends basketball, that her court vision and spatial awareness could translate to other sports. You were on to something. Because what unfolded at the Annika Prom wasn't just impressive for a basketball player, it was world-class by any standard. The Annika Prom isn't some casual weekend tournament. Named after Annika Sornam, one of the greatest golfers in history, this LPGA charity event pairs professional golfers with high-profile athletes and celebrities. The difference? Most celebrities are just happy to finish 18 holes without embarrassing themselves. Caitlin Clark walked onto that course and immediately changed the conversation. But let's rewind, because understanding how we got here reveals something crucial about who Caitlin Clark really is when the cameras aren't rolling. Growing up in West Des Moines, Iowa, Caitlin's weekends weren't just about basketball camps and AAU tournaments. Her father, Brant Clark, was an avid golfer who brought Caitlin and her brothers to the local course regularly. She picked up a driver before she turned 10, and according to family friends, she showed the same obsessive focus on her golf swing that would later make her a basketball legend. In a past interview, Caitlin said something revealing, "I loved how golf challenged me mentally. It's just you, the ball, and the wind. No shot clock, no defense, just focus." Reading between the lines, what she's describing is the same mental framework that makes her unstoppable on the basketball court, the ability to shut out pressure and execute under scrutiny. That's not sport-specific. That's championship DNA. Even during her record-breaking seasons at Iowa, Caitlin would occasionally appear in charity golf tournaments. And fans who paid close attention noticed something. Her swing wasn't casual hobby level. It was smooth, powerful, technically sound, the kind of mechanics professional swing coaches spend years trying to perfect. By the time she entered the WNBA, golf had become her mental reset, her escape from the intensity of being the most scrutinized player in women's basketball. But what happened at the Annika Prom took things to another level. When Caitlin stepped onto the first tee that morning, the crowd was there mostly for her personality and star power. They wanted to see the basketball icon try her hand at golf, maybe get a selfie, enjoy the spectacle. By the end of the first 9 holes, that energy had completely shifted. This wasn't a spectacle anymore. This was a clinic. On hole 7, a 347-yard par 4, Caitlin crushed a drive that landed just 10 yards short of the green. Let that sink in, a 337-yard bomb with perfect roll. Commentators on site said what everyone was thinking. That's not just impressive for a basketball player, that's a world-class golf swing. The trajectory, the distance, the control, every element suggested thousands of hours of practice that nobody knew about. But she wasn't done. On the back 9, Caitlin sank a 47-foot birdie putt that curved like one of her signature three-point rainbows from beyond the arc. The crowd erupted. Chants of "Let's go, Caitlin" echoed across the fairway. Her playing partners, including world number 1 Nelly Korda and major champion Brooke Henderson, were laughing in disbelief. These are women who've dedicated their entire lives to golf perfection. And here's Caitlin Clark, making it look effortless. Annika Sorenstam herself, the host and a golf legend who's seen it all, walked over after that putt and said, "You just made that look too easy." Coming from a player who won 72 LPGA tournaments and 10 majors, that's not casual praise. That's recognition from royalty. By the time Caitlin finished a round, her scorecard showed a 61, the lowest score ever recorded by a celebrity participant in the event's history. But here's where it gets bigger. That performance didn't just break an event record. It shattered the official Guinness World Record for the lowest score by a non-professional female athlete in a sanctioned Pro-Am event. Another record. Another piece of history. Another chapter in the legend of Caitlin Clark. And this time, it had nothing to do with basketball. Within hours, social media absolutely exploded. ESPN led with it. Golf Channel interrupted regular programming. Sports Illustrated ran the headline, "Caitlin Clark's golf highlights break world record." Clips of her drives, her putts, her calm demeanor under pressure went viral across every platform. TikTok, Instagram, X, everywhere you looked, Caitlin Clark was dominating the conversation again. The comment sections became a phenomenon of their own. Fans were writing things like, "First she breaks basketball, now she's coming for golf too. Is there anything this woman can't do?" One fan wrote. Another said, "She's Tiger Woods and Steph Curry in one body." The comparisons weren't hyperbole. They were people genuinely struggling to process what they'd just witnessed. And then Tiger Woods himself chimed in with an online post, "Athleticism and focus like that transcend sports. Congratulations to Caitlin Clark. What a round." When Tiger Woods publicly acknowledges your golf performance, you've officially crossed into rarefied territory. That's not celebrity golf anymore. That's legitimate respect from one of the sport's all-time greats. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. Drop a comment below and tell us, did you start paying attention to golf because of Caitlin Clark? Because based on what happened next, thousands of people did exactly that. We want to hear how her influence is changing the way you consume sports content. Your insights help us understand the real impact of the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. In the 48 hours following that world record round, something unprecedented happened. The LPGA's social media accounts gained over 300,000 new followers. Sports analysts have a term for it, the Caitlin Clark effect. It's the proven phenomenon where her presence elevates entire leagues, events, and sports beyond their traditional audiences. Even LPGA officials had to acknowledge reality. One insider told reporters, "We've never seen engagement like this." She brought in a whole new audience, not just for Caitlin Clark content, but for women's golf as a whole. That's the difference between a star and a cultural force. Stars shine. Forces change the landscape entirely. When word spread that Caitlin had broken a world golf record, the legends didn't hold back. Nelly Korda, the world's #1 female golfer, said in an interview, "Caitlin's swing is pure. She's got rhythm, strength, and calm, the perfect combination. I'm not saying she should turn pro, but honestly, she could compete." Coming from Nelly Korda, that's not polite encouragement. That's genuine assessment from someone who knows excellence. Annika Sorenstam went even further, calling Caitlin's performance a masterclass in focus and adaptability. Think about that phrase, focus and adaptability. Those aren't just golf skills. They're the exact qualities that made Caitlin the most dominant college basketball player ever and the most impactful WNBA rookie in league history. The basketball world responded, too. Sue Bird, WNBA legend and Seattle Storm icon, posted, "She's out here rewriting the record books in another sport. Unbelievable." And Steph Curry, one of the NBA's best golfers, commented, "I see you, Caitlin. Welcome to the club of basketball golf crossovers." Then Curry did something significant. He publicly invited Caitlin to his annual underrated golf charity tournament, saying he'd love to team up for a mixed round. Fans immediately flooded the comments. Curry and Clark on one team? That would break the internet. And they're not wrong. The crossover appeal of watching two of the greatest shooters in basketball history compete together in golf, that's appointment viewing for millions. But let's talk about what this really represents. You were right when you noticed that Caitlin's greatness isn't confined to basketball. What we're witnessing is an athlete who understands that excellence is transferable. The same discipline that lets you sink a game-winning three-pointer under pressure is the discipline that lets you drain a 47-foot putt with a golf world watching. Multiple sources in the golf community are whispering about something interesting. Nothing officially confirmed yet, but the breadcrumbs point to major golf brands reaching out to Caitlin for potential partnerships. We're in rumor territory here, but sources suggest that at least 2 major equipment manufacturers want her as an ambassador. If those reports are accurate, Caitlin Clark could become the first athlete to simultaneously hold major endorsement deals in both basketball and golf. The respect Caitlin earns isn't just because she's talented, it's because of how she approaches everything. After her record-breaking round, she told reporters, "I just wanted to have fun out there. Golf relaxes me, but I guess the competitor in me never turns off." That's authenticity, someone who genuinely loves the challenge, regardless of the sport. Think about the journey, from breaking basketball records at Iowa to breaking golf records alongside legends like Annika Sorenstam. This isn't about athletic ability anymore. It's about mindset. It's about a young woman who refuses to accept limits, who sees a challenge and thinks, "Why not me?" and then goes out and proves she belongs. So here's the real question everyone's asking. Could Caitlin Clark one day actually compete in a real LPGA event? Based on what we just witnessed, it's not as crazy as it sounds. Her swing mechanics are professional grade. Her mental game is unshakable. Her competitive drive is legendary. If she ever decided to pursue golf seriously during WNBA off-seasons, several professional swing coaches believe she could qualify for major tournaments within a few years. Would you watch Caitlin Clark go head-to-head with the pros in an LPGA tournament? Because based on these numbers, millions already would. That's not speculation. That's market reality. If you want to stay ahead of the next chapter in the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, make sure you're subscribed to this channel with notifications turned on, because when she inevitably does something else that breaks the internet, you'll want to be here for the analysis. We've got another deep dive coming soon on how Caitlin's influence is transforming endorsement deals across women's sports. You won't want to miss it. This is what greatness looks like when it refuses to be contained. Caitlin Clark, breaking records, changing sports, inspiring millions, one swing at a time. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.